Hey guys, Procrastination Gaming here and welcome to the channel. This is going to be my predictions for week 14 of the 2017 NFL season. I liked the way the video turned out last week, so I think I'm going to stick with the setup for now. For the first game here, we have Saints at Falcons. This game has not been played yet, but I think by the time I get this video done and edited and uploaded, it'll probably be over. I'm guessing the Saints are going to win this game 23-17. I know it is a road game for the Saints, but the Saints have been very good this year and in this division as well. I think this is a very important game for the Saints. If the Saints lose this game to the Falcons, that could make things very interesting. But I do think they'll win this game. My score is going to be 23-17. Now, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with the Falcons on offense. I don't think the Falcons will probably be able to run the ball this game. I'm sure they'll be able to throw the ball, but I think the reason the Saints are going to win because they can probably stop the Falcons from running the ball. And also the Saints on offense, I mean, the way Alvin Kamara has been playing the last few weeks, he has been unstoppable. And he just looks way too good right now. So I think that he's going to really help the Saints get this win. I could easily see Alvin Kamara having over 100 total yards this game and being very big in this game for the Saints. Now for our second game here, we have the Colts at Bills. I'm definitely taking the Bills in this game. My score is going to be 21-7. I know the Bills kind of got blown out by the Patriots last week, but the Colts are very bad this year, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to score many points. I think maybe even 7 might be a stretch. They might only score 6 or 3. The Colts have not been able to move the ball in offense this year. The defense is not great, and the Bills are good enough. I don't think the Bills are very good, but they're definitely good enough to beat the Colts by a lot of points. And I'm picking them to win this game 21-7. Even though their quarterback play hasn't been good recently, I still think they'll get this win easily. Now for our next game here, Cowboys at Giants. I am taking the Giants in this one, 23-14. And the main reason I'm taking the Giants is because they just fired their head coach. A lot of times after a team fires a head coach and fires a general manager, the team kind of takes over for a couple of weeks before they get their next head coach. It looks like I don't even know who's going to be coaching. I haven't checked. A lot of times the team will play better after a coach they wanted out gets fired. So I think that could possibly be the case here. And I think the Giants are going to play very well this game. I expect them to win this game. 23-14 will be my score. Cowboys without Zeke Elliott has not been as good. They have not been the same team. But if the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs, they definitely have to win this game. I just don't think they'll do it. Now for the next game here, we have Lions at Buccaneers. I definitely take the Lions in this one. The Buccaneers have been very bad this year for most of their games. This is a road game for the Lions, which could be problematic, but I do think the Lions could pull this one out. My score is going to be 27-13 here. Now the main reason I'm picking the Lions in this one by so much is because the way Jameis Winston has been playing this year, he has been throwing a lot of interceptions, way too many interceptions. He fumbles the ball too much, a lot of bad decisions. He holds onto the ball too much sometimes. He gets sacked too much. I definitely don't think he's been very good this year. And yeah, I think a lot of times he puts himself and his team in very bad situations with his quarterback play. Now for the Lions on offense this game, I'm not sure what exactly to expect. I do not expect Matthew Stafford to be able to throw the ball down the field this game because the way his hand got injured. I think it's going to affect his throwing quite a bit. But I do expect this team to be able to move the ball with short passes and a lot of screen plays and a lot of that kind of stuff this game. And I do think they'll be able to win this game. My score is going to be 27-13. On to the next one, Raiders at Chiefs. This is a very important game. As you can see, the Chargers are 6-6 right now. The Chiefs are 6-6, and the Raiders are 6-6. So that division's got 3 teams trying to win right now. The Broncos, it looks like they're definitely not going to be able to win it. Right now, the AFC wildcard race is pretty tight right now. You have the Jaguars and the Titans. Whoever does not win the division between the Jaguars and the Titans is going to get one wild card spot, and the other wild card spot is either going to be the Ravens, Chargers, Chiefs, or Raiders, I think. And I just got off NFL.com to find out that Michael Crabtree had his suspension reduced to 1 game from 2 games, and that is huge for the Raiders. I actually had them losing the game before I found that out, but now that they have Michael Crabtree back and it looks like Amari Cooper is going to be playing as well, I'm going to pick the Raiders to win this game. I'm going to pick them to win 31-17 is going to be my score. The Chiefs looked really bad last week, and there's really no excuse right now. The Chiefs have just not been playing well. And as I said in my last video, if you're a Chiefs fan, you have to be absolutely frustrated with the way this team has been collapsing. This Chiefs team just has way too much talent to be doing this right now, and they're just kind of falling apart in the later parts of games. So yeah, I'm definitely going to take the Raiders. I think Derek Carr with those two receivers should be able to move the ball through the air quite a bit. Now the Chiefs on offense might have a few plays in the first half, but I think beyond that there's not going to be a whole lot going out there. So yeah, I have the Raiders definitely winning this game. 31-17 is my score. On to the next one. We have 49ers at Texans. Now in this game, I am taking the Texans 20-13. Now the Texans put up quite a fight last week against the Titans, so I do think they'll be able to win this game. They played decent on offense. Obviously they weren't great. Tom Savage was still a quarterback, but they did play efficiently enough to where I think they could definitely beat the 49ers this week. I guess we'll see. But I'm taking the Texans in that one, 20-13. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo did lead his team to a win last week, but it was versus the Bears, who are 3-9 right now. So I'm definitely taking the Texans. I just think the Texans are definitely a deeper team in terms of talent. I think they have a very good front seven, and they could definitely hold Jimmy Garoppolo to probably under 200 passing yards, but I guess we'll see. Now after that game, we have the Packers and the Browns. I'm definitely taking the Packers in this game. My score is 28-13 for this one, and it looks like the Packers only have to play one more game without Aaron Rodgers here. Brent Hundley did play very well last week. As I expected, he is a very good backup quarterback in my opinion. And I do think the Packers could win games without him, so it's definitely good to see that he had a good game last week. And I do think he has a future in the NFL. I think someday he could definitely be a starter for somebody. And now the Browns, this game I expect to put up quite a bit of a fight in the first half, but I don't think they'll be able to keep up with the Packers. I think all the Packers really have to do is just run the ball a little bit, and then just get the ball out to their receivers without making too many mistakes. If they can manage that, I'm pretty sure the Packers will have no problem winning this game. After that one, we have the Bears at Bengals. I'm taking the Bengals 17-10. And I think just the Bengals on offense will just do a little bit more this game than the Bears. I don't think they're very good, but if you ask me, I think both of the teams are pretty evenly matched. If you look at the Bengals on offense, I mean, they have a few receivers, and then the Bears on defense, they definitely have a very good front seven, and they can definitely get to the quarterback. And I think I think they're going to kind of even each other out like that. But I do think the Bengals will win this game just because they're at home. I'm going to take the Bengals in this one. I don't really think either of these teams are great, but I do think the Bengals at home can pull it out. Now for probably the game of the week, we have the Vikings at Panthers. Now for this game, I am taking the Panthers 23-20. Just like the last game, actually, I think these teams are pretty closely matched. I mean, if you look at these teams, both of the quarterbacks are playing pretty well. I think Case Keenum is probably playing a little bit better than Cam Newton. But if you look at the Panthers are running the ball a little bit better than the Vikings, and both of these teams have very good defenses. I think the Vikings are a little bit stronger in their secondary, and the Panthers are probably a little bit stronger in their linebacking core. But yeah, with both of these teams being very evenly matched, in my opinion, I'm going to just take the home game because that's usually how these games tend to play out. I'll pick the Panthers in this one, 23-20. Now for the Redskins at Chargers, I'm taking the Redskins in this one. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. I'm picking the Redskins 35-34. Now, on one side of this game, you have the Chargers, who are fighting for a wild card spot right now. And then on the other side, you have the Redskins, who Kirk Cousins right now, he is 4 games away from getting a massive payday. And I think if Kirk Cousins can finish off this season like he started it, he could definitely get a massive payday. And he could definitely go to a team and be the leader and maybe turn that franchise around. So I'm taking the Redskins in this one, 35-34. I think the Chargers have had a very good defense this year, but I also think Kirk Cousins is going to do everything in his power to get as much money as he can over the next 4 weeks. Now after that game, we have the Jets at Broncos. I'm taking the Jets in this one. The Broncos are really bad. I'm taking the Jets 28-13 in this one. Now both the Jets and Broncos are kind of in a similar position where they have a lot of veteran players, and they also don't have a very solid quarterback. But the Jets, on one hand, have been playing consistent. They've been making the plays that are there. Josh McCown has just not been making too many mistakes, and he's letting his players make the plays. On the other hand, the Broncos, Trevor Siemian has not been playing well this year at all. He has definitely been forcing the ball into coverage too many times this year. And it's got to be frustrating as a Broncos fan because you know you have really good receivers. You have a pretty good offensive line. You have a very good running back core. CJ Anderson's the kind of guy that can go off for 150 yards if you give him enough carries. But the Broncos have just not been able to find any kind of consistency this year moving the ball. Now, after that game, we have the Titans and Cardinals. I think the Titans are probably going to win this game. I think this is going to be a pretty close game, and I'm going to take the Titans 23-17 in this one. And the main reason I think it's going to be so close is because the Titans are on the road versus a decent team. I think the Cardinals, outside of the quarterback position, are a decent team. They're not great, but they do have a lot of good players. And I think it might surprise some people how close this game actually is going to be. Now for our next game here, we have Eagles at Rams. Obviously, I said the Vikings and Panthers game is going to be the game of the week. I think this game could be easily the game of the week as well. I think this game might be a little bit high scoring, but I'm actually going to score this one. Going to be 23-28. I'm picking the Rams just because they're the home team. Really is the only reason I'm picking the Rams. I think you look at both of these teams, they have very similar strengths, obviously at the quarterback position. They both have good running backs, obviously Todd Gurley. And on the Eagles side, you got LeGarrette Blount. I mean, you got Jay Ajayi, and you got Corey Clement. You got a few guys on the Eagles side that can make things happen. But yeah, I think at home the Rams should be able to pull this out because of their defense. I think in this game it's going to come down to whoever wins the turnover battle. That's who's going to win this game most likely, just because it's a home game. Just because it's a home game, both of these teams are very good. They both can throw the ball. They both can run the ball. I'm going to pick the Rams. I'm just going to take the Rams because they're at home. Now for our next one. Seahawks at Jaguars. I'm taking the Jaguars big time in this one. It's going to be 31-17. Now that might surprise some people. But the main reason I think they're going to win by so much is I think the Jaguars are going to get a few turnovers this game. I think the Jaguars will probably get around 3 interceptions this game just because of how good their front seven has been this year. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to be able to scramble around this game at all. I think that front seven is just going to dominate the game for the Jaguars. They're going to get a lot of sacks this game, probably 6 or 7 sacks. And part of the reason I think that's going to happen is the Seahawks offensive line may be one of the worst offensive lines in all of football right now. And sometimes when Russell Wilson plays against really good front sevens, he will throw quite a few picks. So I think that's going to happen this game. I think he's going to get flustered. And this game could be very important for the Seahawks because if they lose and the Rams win this week, then they'll be 2 games behind. Because if the Seahawks won this game and then beat the Rams, I think that's next week, then they would be actually ahead of the Rams. So this is a very big opportunity for the Seahawks, but I do think the Jaguars front seven is just going to be too much for them. So I'm picking the Jaguars in this one, 31-17. Now for our next game here, Ravens at Steelers. I'm picking the Steelers in this one. My score is going to be 28-17. I think the Steelers in offense should be able to move the ball at home. Usually at home, Le'Veon Bell runs for a lot more yards. I'm saying Le'Veon Bell probably runs for 140 yards this game. The Ravens secondary is very good, so I do think the Steelers should run the ball quite a bit this game. Now the Ravens on offense showed some big playability last week, but it was against the Lions, and I think that Lions defense was definitely getting tired from being on the field so much, and they did not play well that game. And I definitely think the Steelers have a better defense overall than the Lions, and I think the Steelers defense doesn't have to be on the field as much. So I'm definitely taking the Steelers at home, 28-17. Then for our next game, Patriots at Dolphins. I am taking the Patriots 27-13. I don't think this one will be a blowout. Usually the games between the Patriots and the Dolphins are a little closer than they should be just because of turnovers. There's sometimes when Tom Brady in these games will throw a couple interceptions to let the other team get back in it. And I've noticed this happens mostly with the Dolphins and the Bills, sometimes with the Jets, but usually in away games, first the Dolphins and the Bills. Tom Brady doesn't play like he did the entire rest of the year. And I think a lot of that has to do with the pride of the defensive players from the other team. They just want to show that they can shut down Tom Brady pretty much. But hey guys, this has been my predictions for Week 14 of the 2017 NFL season. Thanks for watching and have a great day.